Hi guys. Today I'm making this video to go over the options that you have to complete your final assignment in Reading 8 this semester. Let me just get my screen shared. Okay, so you have one of two ways that you can complete your final project in our class. So I'm going to go over each of the options with you. Whichever option you don't pick, you are immediately exempt from that option, and you just have to do the other one. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you from a the Google Classroom perspective. That way you know what resources you have available to you. We're going to start here in project option 1, poetry project song presentation. So you're going to notice you have a couple things available to you in this. So there's the resources that are in this folder, and then there is other resources that you can use as well that are not in this folder that might still help you with this. There's the explanation slides, which I'm about to open and I'm going to be using to explain this. There's the song presentation rubric, and then there is a template, like a blank template, that you're going to use to complete this project. So let's start in the explanation slides. Okay, this is the poetry project. This is a presentation over a song. Explanation: using the skills that we have learned over the last week, such as annotation, author's purpose, structure, we are going to annotate a school-appropriate song of your choice, the same way that you would a poem. And then you're going to present your findings in front of the class. Why does this matter? In life, you are going to have to read material that won't make sense or stick in your head the first time that you read it. If you can learn to deep dive into material and pick it apart, you will be able to navigate your way through challenging readings. Plus, as this might be kind of nerdy, but I think it's kind of fun to know the ins and outs of a favorite song of yours, so that could be fun too. Project structure. There are 6 slides. They're broken down as so. We're going to go into each of those slides in just a second. So template, there is a blank template on Google Classroom. You get to customize this template any way that you want. I ask that you keep all customizations school appropriate since you will be presenting this in front of your class. Questions. Okay, so this is the second slide. It's the first one that's like not a title slide. So organization of song is where you're going to start. How many stanzas are in your song? What is the rhyme scheme of the chorus? And when I say chorus, guys, I'm referring to the thing that repeats multiple times in the song. So sometimes certain songs won't have a chorus. If you run into that issue, come see me and we can figure out where we're going to figure out rhyme scheme instead. But if you have a spot, like a section of your song that keeps getting repeated multiple times throughout the song, that's probably your chorus. I just want the rhyme scheme for your chorus, not for your entire song. And then finally, did you notice any patterns with syllables? If yes, how many syllables are in each line? Many of you probably won't have a pattern with syllables, but if you do you notice some type of pattern? And then what is that pattern? Making sense of meanings. This is the first making sense of meaning slide, not the second one. So the first one, what unknown words or phrases did you need to define after your first read of the song's lyrics? Even if you knew every single one of them, guys, please just define some type of complicated vocab word. That way your classmates can keep up with you. What figurative language was in your song? So find an example of figurative language somewhere in your song. It could be a simile, metaphor, idiom, hyperbole, personification, all those different things that we covered back in January and then we refreshed with on Tuesday. Was there any figurative language in your song? Give me a lyric that includes that figurative language and then tell me what type of figurative language that lyric is dealing with. Making sense of meaning, slide 2. So this is the second part of making sense of meaning. Were there any words that were repeated over and over? Why do you think these words were repeated over and over? What was significant about that repetition? Was it part of the rhythm? Did it have some type of meaning to the artist? Is it like the song's title? Was there something that was repeated a lot? Were there any onomatopoeias or alliteration included in your song? So onomatopoeias, I'm referring to sound words. So like the booms, bangs, claps. Alliteration, I'm referring to words that start with the same sound. So like in Good Timber, we had manly man. So that ma. So look for some type of sound device in your song. Sometimes singers will like leave in like a ooh or ah somewhere. That can count as an onomatopoeia. What imagery was included in your songs? So when I say imagery, again, I'm appealing to those 5 senses. So was there some spot in your song that made you feel, see something, smell something? Was there something appealing to your five senses somewhere in your song? Provide an example of that lyric that includes imagery. Soapstone. So who is the speaker of your song? What occasion do you think made the artist want to write this song? This may require some research, this time around. Who was the audience to your song? So who needs to hear this song? Was there a purpose or theme of this song? So full sentence, what is the moral of the story? What does the author hope that you learn from this? What is the subject of the song? So in one word, one statement, what can you say the subject of this song is? What do you think the tone or mood of this song was? Start with positive, negative, neutral, and then get more complex from there. What do you think the tone or mood of the song is? How did this song make you feel? And then back this tone up with 3 words or phrases that match the tone that you selected. Deeper meaning questions. Okay, so really on this slide, I want you to answer 2 questions. I don't want you to answer all of these brainstorm questions. So the 2 questions I'm most concerned about are, what was your song about? What was unique about the song that you selected? Answer those 2 questions. The brainstorm questions are just to get you thinking about what might have been unique, okay? So I'm gonna go over a few of the brainstorm questions and then I will leave you to read the others. Brainstorm questions. Was there anything special about repeated words or phrases in your song? Was there figurative language that stood out in your song? Did your song tell a story using imagery? Do you think your artist wrote this song for someone specific? Brainstorm it, figure out what's unique about it, and then after that, you are allowed to actually write full sentences on this slide. I know I have that rule about no full sentences, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But after analyzing your song and brainstorming some of these questions, provide a sentence or 2 about what your song was about and what made your song unique. You're allowed to read directly off of this slide because I do want to see quoted lyrics that back up the meaning that you believe your song is about. So this one can look paragraph style, the other ones need to be bullet points. And we'll talk about that right now. Presentation skills. Bullet points on slides, not full sentences, just so we're not tempted to read our slides directly to the class. Do not read directly off of your slides when you're up there. Please don't do the 90-degree head tilt where you look at the board and you stare over your shoulder and you are reading us the exact presentation that we could read for ourselves. The one exception to this is slide 6, that deeper meaning slide. This is where you are allowed to read directly off of your slides just because we are kind of writing that paragraph structure style. If you do get really, really uncomfortable when you present and you forget all the information that you were going to say and you need to make some note cards to bring up there and read those, you can totally make note cards. I just don't want you to read us your slides. The other cool thing about this project is you can choose to have your song playing on a low volume from my computer while you present, if you want to. If you think that's going to distract you while you're up there and you don't want your song to play, you just simply have to tell me not to play it, and I won't play it. I will let you just present without it. But if you would like to have your song on a low volume, you're more than welcome to. Song selection. Whatever song you select, it does need to be appropriate for school. So when I say appropriate for school, no curse words in your song. We can use clean versions of songs, that's totally fine, but it can't have curse words in it. Even with these clean versions of songs, I don't want any innuendos to a subject matter that shouldn't be talked about in school. So when I say subject matter that shouldn't be talked about in school, I'm referring to like drugs, inappropriate activity, things that we probably just shouldn't be talking about in the first place. You can always ask me whether or not something is considered inappropriate. I'm happy to give you a yay or a nay. If you do try to go up and present over something inappropriate, your presentation will be stopped in the middle. Wherever I figure out that it's inappropriate, I will ask you to sit down, and then whatever points you've gotten up to that point, you'll still get, but you won't have a chance to get anything else up to that point where you got stopped. Resources to help you through this. The template slides that are available on Google Classroom, they're available in this same part that I just showed you. So project option 1, these are your template slides right here. Figurative language notes also available on Google Classroom. They got posted in January and then they got pinned to the top of our classroom on, I believe it was Tuesday. Soapstone notes, we took those notes last Friday. Annotation guide, that's the slides with the lady with the sunglasses. They're purple and blue. We were using them yesterday to annotate the 7 Habits poem and Set Fire to the Rain, Mean, or Imagine in class. You're not required to annotate your song, but if you want to, and that's going to help you to figure out the meaning for the rest of this stuff, you're more than welcome to print off your lyrics and use the annotation guide to help you. Stanza, rhyme, and syllable form is available. It has been graded. It got graded last night, so Wednesday night. So if you are concerned about if you're doing those things right, such as counting stanzas, figuring out rhyme schemes, looking at syllables, look back at your comments, look at your score, and if you need some help figuring that stuff out, like while we're in class, I'm happy to come by and help you figure out stanzas and rhyme scheme and syllables and all that stuff. Video explaining the project. I'm currently making it. I will have it posted and ready to go in just a second. And if you still need help after all of those resources, you can email me at mman1@GoddardUSD. Rubric. The rubric is on Google Classroom. It's worth 40 points in total. I'm going to show you the rubric in just a second. Due date. Presentations are going to start on Monday, May 20th. Now, if you were gone from school on either today, Thursday, May 16th, tomorrow, Friday, May 17th, I won't make you present until Tuesday, May 21st. So you're guaranteed to present Tuesday, May 21st, just so you get that extra time. I can't guarantee that you'll be able to work on your presentation in class because your Chromebook might be turned in at that point. We'll continue our presentations all the way through Tuesday, May 21st. We might continue them into Wednesday, May 22nd if we really need to. I'm going to take volunteers first, and then after that, I'm going to go random selection. Work days were today and tomorrow. And then you do get that extra day if you were absent for band, if you were absent just in general, today, Thursday, May 16th, or if you're absent tomorrow, Friday, May 17th, you'll have that extra day. Let's go over your rubric real fast for this project. Okay, so this is your rubric. This is what I'm grading. Organization is slide 2. Student addresses how many stanzas are in the song, what the rhyme scheme is, and if there is a pattern related to syllables of the song. Meaning is slide 3. Student discusses unknown words and phrases from their song and shows at least one example of figurative language in their song. Meaning, again, on slide 4, student identified repeated words and phrases and discussed why these words and phrases might be important. Student identified sound devices and imagery from the song. Comprehension and author's purpose. Student can read and comprehend the meaning of their song lyrics by identifying the soapstone of their song lyrics. Comprehension. Student can show their understanding over what this song was about and provides quoted lyrics to back up this meaning. And finally, presentation skills. Student does not read directly off of their slides. Student has bullet points on each slide, not full sentences. And finally, student is a respectful audience member for others' presentations. All for a total of 40 points on this one. And then I just want to show you your template as well. You are going to notice on your template that you have questions on here that you can edit just the same way that you did your Greek God research project. If you accidentally delete a question and need it back, all of the questions are on the Poetry Project presentation slides. So where it says questions, just come into here for the slide that you deleted something off of and use those questions so that you still have them. I think this is it for project 1. I think we're good to move on to project 2. Okay, so if you're not a fan of the presentation, you want to go the other route, there is another option. So project option 2, you have this available one of 2 ways. If you are absent today and you want to start working on this project immediately, all you got to do is print this PDF and you can get started. If you want to wait until you come back, I have a million copies of this PDF printed out, ready to go, ready to hand to you. So it's up to you. If you do want to get a jump on it tonight because you were absent and you missed this explanation in the first place, you can print that off and you can get started. But let me show you these explanation slides as well. So this is the packet project. The packet project is analyzing a nonfiction article. Explanation. This project asks you to read, comprehend, and analyze choices made by an author of an informative article. For this project, you will read an article about Instagram influencers and how they make money. You will find evidence that backs up what the author is saying Write about the author's choices and purpose, and analyze any conflicting evidence. Why does this matter? When we do research in school and in our careers, it's important to consider what an author's motive might be. By considering the author's purpose and analyzing their choices, we make ourselves less susceptible to falling for fake news or inaccurate information. Packet structure. There's one article and then there are 4 worksheets with the article. I'm going to break down these worksheets one by one in just a second. Come see me if you want a printed packet, or you can print your own on Google Classroom right now. I just showed you how to do that. Worksheet 1. So this is the comprehension quiz. What you're going to do is you're going to fill in the blanks with the correct answers from the article. Each correct answer is worth 1 point for a total of 8 points on this first worksheet. Worksheet 2 is called Finding Text Evidence. You're gonna need colored markers, pencils, pens, something colorful for this because it's gonna ask you to use a number of different colors. I have some that you can use in my classroom if you are here, but if you do have to take this home, you're probably going to need some of those materials at home as well. Highlight or underline evidence in the article based on each of the following descriptions. Each highlighted piece of evidence is worth 1 point for a total of 16 points on this worksheet. Worksheet number 3, analyzing the author's point of view. Answer both multiple choice questions correctly. Each of the multiple choice questions has 2 correct answers. You need to have both. Each of multiple choice question is worth 2 points for a total of 4 points on that third worksheet. Worksheet number 4, analyzing the author's purpose. You are going to answer written response questions to completion. These written response questions will analyze conflicting viewpoints and predict the author's purpose behind putting certain graphs or images in the article. Each written response is worth a total of 5 points. What I'm looking for these written response questions, I'm looking that you answer all components to the question. I'm also looking that you do so in complete sentences. So I did have some students who rushed through their work today, got this turned in, got this submitted, but they didn't have full sentences for their answers. So they did miss some pretty easy points just by not making those full sentences. Be sure that you're writing in full sentences. The total for this page is 16 points. Because they also snuck in like a multiple choice question on this one. So that's why it's not an even 15. Who can help me with the packet? Packets need to be completed individually, but you are still allowed to ask me questions while you work. Pulling allotment, we will already went over each individual worksheet's points, but the total points for the packet is 44 points. The poetry project is worth 40 points. They're so similar in points that I'm pretty comfortable exempting you from one or the other. I don't think it's going to make a major difference if you do one project over the other. Those extra 4 points that you could get from this packet probably aren't going to sway your grade too much to one way or the other. The due date of the packets, it's also going to be Monday, May 20th. This is so it's fair to the people who are doing the poetry project as well, because they have to present that day. They're not going to have any extra work time, so I don't feel comfortable giving the packets any extra work time. Work days are today and tomorrow. Packets are going to be graded and handed back on Wednesday, May 22nd, which is the day before the last day of school. One final little warning, just something to think about as you're selecting your project. Your 8th-hour teachers will not let you take your Chromebooks home over the weekend. So that's just because we need to get them started needed to get the check-in process started. So if you do not have a way to access Google Classroom at home without a Chromebook, I would suggest that you go with the packet approach, just because I have it doesn't matter if I write your 8th-hour teacher a note or not, you're not going to be allowed to take your Chromebook home. So if you have no way to complete those slides outside of class, you're going to have to present a half-done project, and I would hate for you to have to do that. So think about that as well. Do you have Chromebook access at home? When you're selecting these projects, make sure you are going to be able to get it completed before Monday. Okay, I think that is it. The only other resource I can show you is all this madness on my board is kind of our schedule for the next week. And then it's also a summary of when I'm grading. You have access to what's behind me right now on Google Classroom as well. It's just, what are we doing for the remainder of the year on one side? And then when will my final assignments be in Skyward? It tells you kind of my grading schedule and when I'm planning on getting those things submitted, ready to go for you. I believe that is everything that you would have missed today. Go ahead and get started on your project. I would do a little bit of work tonight if I were you. Yeah, that's everything. Thank you guys. This is your last task. You've almost made it. Congratulations on almost being high schoolers.